The Senate Judiciary Committee held a hearing on addressing America's gun violence epidemic yesterday, during which Republican Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana asked a witness whether Chicago's gun laws led to its high shooting rates. Here is the ensuing exchange with the Dean of Yale's School of Public Health, who is also an ER doctor.
Why do you think that Chicago has become America's largest outdoor shooting range? Do you think it's because of Chicago citizens who have no criminal record, but who have lawfully a gun in their home for protection or perhaps for hunting? Or do you think it's because of a finite group of criminals who have rap sheets as long as King Kong's arm?
So Mississippi, Louisiana, and Missouri actually have higher firearm death rates. Obviously, there's certain...
What about Chicago?
So I don't live in Chicago. It's not my primary area of research.
You don't have an opinion on that?
I think there's easy access to firearms combined with environmental conditions, lack of great education. There have actually been studies showing that when you green vacant lots and repair abandoned buildings in urban neighborhoods, you see decreases in gunshots, in violence, as well as in stress and depression in the neighborhoods around them.
No disrespect, Doc, but that sounds a lot like word salad to me.
You want to talk about word salad?
It's given racism, Mika.
That was racist, elitist, so condescending.
And ill-informed.
Ill-informed and insulting. Let's talk about the numbers the doctor was referring to. I can't believe this man. It's repulsive, actually, what he just did, what we just showed you. According to the data from the CDC, 9 of the 10 states with the highest gun death rates in 2021 voted for Trump in the last election. That includes the senator's home state of Louisiana, which comes in at number 2. Illinois ranked 26th. And when you compare city metrics, Chicago is still statistically safer than major cities in the South. Chicago had a firearm homicide rate of 23.3 deaths per 100,000 residents, according to the city's police department. For context, St. Louis, Missouri, had the highest rate in the nation with 76.4 deaths per 100,000. New Orleans had a death rate of 65.3 deaths. I don't know what you can add, but I'd love to hear it, Simone. I don't even know what to. I don't ever think I can interview this senator again without asking him about that and asking him to apologize to the American people for what he did in that question.
I'm very confused about the rap sheet because I don't know if he is insinuating because Chicago is a city that many people associate with being majority African-American, majority black, that the majority of the people in the city have rap sheets, i.e. black people do crime. I can't believe this is happening on the floor of the United States Congress, the Senate, nonetheless, supposed to be the greatest deliberative body in this country. But I think given the numbers that you just gave is really important because there is an epidemic of gun violence in this country. And there is everyday gun violence that is happening, and it is happening in spaces and places all across the country. There are many people, and I think back to the mayor of Louisville, Kentucky, after the shooting that happened in the bank where the governor of Kentucky, one of his best friends, was killed in that shooting. And the mayor stood at a press conference and he said, I never imagined that something like this could happen here. And we should understand that it could happen everywhere. And I think his comments are really important because everywhere across the country, people are dealing with the epidemic of gun violence, and it's why the United States Congress should be doing something about it, especially the Senate. But this idea that crime and gun violence is relegated to areas that are majority black, majority urban areas is absolutely just not true. And the numbers and the facts and the data, it matters.
I mean, he knows that, right, Jen?
Well, I mean, first of all, the other statistic, I mean, I'm a parent, you're a parent, is that this is the #1 killer of children, is gun violence. Everyone You don't have to be a Republican, a Democrat, non-affiliated, don't vote. That should be something that is waking up people in horror every single day. The fact that it's not, you know why? And I hope when you talk to him and he comes on the show and you ask him this, how much is he getting from the NRA? And how much are they contributing to him? Because that is often the reason why so many people are so afraid of speaking out and voting in a way that, by the way, the majority of the public wants them to vote, which is to put in place more gun violence protection measures in order to protect, by the way, our kids. So it shouldn't be a partisan thing. It's not for the American people. It is only a partisan thing in Washington, D.C.
So, Senator, just for the record, you're dead wrong. And your insinuations, your tone, and your choice of words is simply repulsive, and it shows who you are. Doesn't trigger us here. We're not surprised. We've seen a lot of this.
I will note, they say his accent is fake. I don't know. People should just look it up.
Well,
Mika's going to find
there are
out.
a lot worse things than that going on with him. I got to tell you, that was, I'm trying to think of a better word than repulsive. I am repulsed by what I just saw. I'm sad for our country. I'm sad for the people that he represents.